Welcome to Bible Reader Companion. We are wrapping up our studies in 1 John chapters 1 through 3 this week. And we're going to be looking again in chapter 3 at a passage I think is probably familiar to many. 1 John chapter 3, beginning in verse 16. We'll be reading from the New King James Version. 1 John chapter 3, beginning in verse 16. By this we know love, because he laid down his life for us. And we also ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. But whoever has this world's goods and sees his brother in need and shuts up his heart from him, how does the love of God abide in him? My little children, let us not love in word or in tongue, but in deed and in truth. And by this we know that we are of the truth and shall assure our hearts before God. You know, men get a lot of teasing because they're afraid to, many of them are afraid to say the words, I love you, whether it's to their spouse, maybe it's to their children. But you know, as we've grown into a, for lack of a better term, an enlightened age, you'll see more people saying, I love you, expressing that. What John says here is that there's more to it than just saying the words, I love you. Now let me make clear. There's absolutely nothing wrong, and we should express verbally our love for one another. But he says, this is how we know that God loved us. This is how we know that Jesus loved us. He gave his life. He proved his love. He didn't just say, hey, I love you. You're in sin. Tough luck. Get over it. You're going to die for your sins. God sent his son. Jesus came down, gave his life, endured life on earth, and a cruel death, because he loved us. And he says, we also ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. We ought to show love for one another. I love you, brother. Well, can you take some time out of your day to give me a call and work? Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm too busy. I love you, though, but I don't have time for you. Well, can you help me when I'm spiritually weak and I'm struggling? No, you're on your own. You know what? If you got problems, you've got to deal with them. Well, that's not love. Whether it be physical needs, whether it be spiritual needs, us turning our back on one another when we need help is not demonstrating love. We can say, I love you all we want. But what do our actions say? And again, this is something that's been throughout the book of 1 John. Demonstrate your love for God. Demonstrate your love for one another. Demonstrate your knowledge of God by how you conduct your life. Hope you'll think on these things and hope you'll join us again next week. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook for more content like this.